But so I guess I have like a follow-up question to that because, you know, Chris and I were also talking about this, like all the things that basically, even when we start opening back up, like won't exist, like dance clubs. Like I cannot imagine going to like a sweaty club where you're like bumping up against other sweaty bodies.
Yeah.
And so we were sort of like talking about that, and I was like, okay, but even after there's a vaccine, do you think people will start going to those things again, like bowling alleys, like karaoke, like any of these things that seem so gross now?
Right. I think that they will. I mean, I agree. Like, thinking about it now, I'm like, no, that's never going to happen again. But then when I, like, really think about it a little bit more, I think it will. I think it'll be similar to, like, our feeling about the vaccine, where people might be a little trepidatious at first. But I think, like, I mean, we've fallen into this current normal pretty quickly in the grand scheme of things. And I think it'll potentially be the same going out of it. Like, the first year even might be really tricky. And then at some point, we'll just keep moving forward and realize that it's safe and feel safe.
So if I were not in a relationship, there's the question, am I in a relationship or am I not in a relationship? Obviously I'm in a relationship, so I need to consider the thoughts and feelings of the person that I am with. But I'm like excited, I'm like ready, let's do it now. Like, you know, like obviously that's, you know, makes no sense. But at the same time, like I am super excited for the time when that can happen, because it's going to be the normal level of fun, plus this whole other tier of people like finding connection, and like the time when like you would bump into somebody and they'd like, you know, give you a look. Like either they need to be out of that dance place because they are not ready for that, or that level of like, you know, angst you would feel is just going to be gone, and people are just going to be happy to be with each other, you know, and like that is. I feel like there's just a spring that's just waiting for this to happen. And I hope that whenever that time becomes acceptable, Jesse is on the same page as I am. And then we can go and enjoy that bounty of human connection.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I can't remember I told you guys this already, but there was one night that I went for a walk by myself. And I was already like, I was having a pretty rough week that week. It was like a cry every day type week instead of a like once or twice, you know.
Yeah.
But
understood.
Yeah. So I was on this walk, and I was near McCarran Park, and someone had like brought a big speaker out. They like had parked their car on a street and had a speaker out on the street. It was just like playing like music, and a couple of people had stopped by, and like everyone was, you know, distanced, but it was just like a street like dance party.
Yeah.
And I just started like sobbing. I was just like, oh my God, this is so nice. Cause like, you know, all of the communication and interactions that we've had have been with people that we're friends with or family or are living with.
Right.
And not necessarily strangers. And, you know, so just to like have this moment of like, a dance party with strangers at nighttime in the middle of the street was just like, so I was like, I didn't know how much I needed this.
Oh.
And it was like such a nice moment. I was seriously like, oh my God, like thank you so much for doing this. Like it's, you know, something so small as like playing music. Like, yeah, I don't know. So I think I would have a hard time like maybe if someone was like, oh, like, do you want to go to this bar with me? I think I might be a little hesitant. Like, again, like assuming that things are, you know, still very contagious and not having a vaccine. But like, I think it would be a different story if I was somewhere and something like music like pulled me into something. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah. Like I mean, I guess that's like our humanity, just like the inner workings getting pulled on.
Yeah.
And once that starts happening, then you loosen up a little bit and forget about the fear. Once we know that the fears are maybe irrational to some degree further on in the future, or unnecessary anymore is a better word, I think we'll be able to have experiences like that and let go of it.
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense. I love that that happened for you. That's
It was
such a
really
nice story.
Oh my God, it was so nice. I seriously, like, after that, I, like, left feeling like there is still good in this world.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. I
That's
can
great.
see how that would happen.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, I think, during this time. Like, of course, you see all the nice stories of people raising money, you know, or like healthcare workers. Like, of course, like you see all those stories.
Sure.
And then it's like, but those like big meaningful stories are always combated by all this like negativity coming from like the political and like also like all these people dying and, you know, and so those like the two like big things that are like battling
Yeah.
all the time. But like you never really hear about these like small moments of
Right.
like, you know, just something that like so insignificant and like most like people didn't experience that day, but like for the 10 people that I saw, you know,
Right.
I think it was like
Yeah.
a really nice moment.
Yeah, it was a major moment.
We've been having a similar thing, I think similar in sentiment, with respect to this cafe that opened recently. So we have this connection with a woman that is a server at Father Knows Best, the bar up the street from us. And she opened up a cafe with her husband, like 6 streets down on Hancock and Wilson. And they opened on like March 11th or something.
Wow.
And so it immediately,
Yeah. Wow.
So it
Yeah.
immediately closed down. And we didn't even know of its existence. But we were walking around the streets 3 weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
And we happened to see this woman occasionally. She must live within like a 2-block radius from us. So we see her, and she's like super boisterous personality, very engaging. And so we ended up having a conversation with her, just saying hello. And she told us about the cafe and that it was reopening on May 8th. And so we remembered about that like 2 weeks ago. And we've since been there twice now. And both times she's just been like super appreciative and, you know, really accommodating and wanting to give us the best experience possible, even though we're just getting like coffee, you know. Like
Yeah.
Jesse's getting a coffee, I'm getting a tea, and she has bagels, which I have had this long-standing beef with our neighborhood. There is not a bagel place within a mile radius. Like I've done the sweep of the neighborhood.
Yeah, we've talked about it
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, and it just seems preposterous to me that nobody has taken advantage of this hole in the market,
Yeah.
this bagel-shaped hole. And
Yeah.
so
But
she,
here we are.
yeah, she has bagels, and I've told her the second time we went there, I was like, hey, listen, I'm really glad you have bagels because I've been thinking about this for years. And she's like, I know. I've said to my kids for years, like, why are there no bagel place? I want a bagel place around here. And these are from H&H Bagels. And I was like, this is awesome. Great.
Yeah.
And yeah, just being able to have that opportunity to show goodwill to someone.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely on the stranger spectrum. We're a friendly
Yeah.
acquaintance. And
Yeah, but in the last 2 weeks, she's become one of our close friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
She's
Yeah.
we've actually interacted with her in person twice now, and that's amazing. You know?
Yeah. Like more than you've interacted with your actual friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So those small moments are there, and I think they're going to be. I think whenever the government makes the official statement that we are in a new phase, that's when
Yeah.
things are going to snowball in a way that I think people are going to be naturally uncomfortable about in some respects, but in a way
Yeah.
that we just have to start going in that direction.
I think
Yeah.
so too. Yeah.
And I think people will naturally. You've already seen it with the weather, and I think people are kind of like getting a little fed up, I guess.
Yeah.
With staying in, but yeah, I think people would naturally gravitate towards some sort of interaction with other people.
Yeah. And yeah, I think to some extent, we're just kind of going to have to figure it out on our own. Like, everyone's going to have to do what's comfortable for them and try not to get too shitty towards each other, you know? Like, try and accept that everybody's doing their best and
Yeah.
doing, and like, I can make my decisions and you can make your decisions. And we are more tied than other people, but
Yeah.
I can make my decisions and the neighbor across the street can make their decisions, and we can respect that as long as we're not actually putting each other in danger.
Yeah, I agree with that.